And we're rolling. We're live, Living Room Monsters Dance. She really needs no introduction, does she? Creative director, faculty, a trailblazer in this game. Give it up for the one and only Andye J in the living room.
You're too kind, honestly. He makes me feel like a big superhero.
It's easy. Like Fetty said, get you a friend that hypes you up like Andye J.
And what you need, because I got you as well.
I'm here. It's just a big circle of hyping each other up.
It really is.
It's lovely to sit down with you.
Yeah, finally.
We just talked about how we're really gonna have to try to focus because
the
long form version is gonna be like a 3-hour epic novel.
Absolutely.
But we are here in February, Nashville, Black History Month.
Black History Month.
Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. I've said it before, I'll say it again. As important as it is as a society that I feel like we've chosen to shed a spotlight on this, it does sound a little absurd to me always when I say it, just Black History Month.
I get that.
You know what I mean? But in my understanding of it, I do think it's important that we do put a label on it. Like we do stop, pause, and take a moment to really assess where we've been, where we are, where we're going.
Absolutely.
And you're someone who has never been afraid to speak on matters both within the dance community and bigger than the dance community. What does Black History Month, how does that sit with you? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you in the regard of like having to specifically take out 1 month to kind of like put this laser focus on Black culture and Black people. It does seem a little absurd, but there is still, unfortunately and fortunately, a necessity for it.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like it's gonna be nice when we can get to a time where maybe we're paying so much attention and there's so much like harmony and understanding and respect for the culture that maybe we won't have to call it a specific month. But for me, I love what Black History Month to me is the opportunity to remind our country and our society of the importance of the contributions of Black people in things that people don't even sometimes realize, you know?
Right, because even though we all live in this country together, there's so many different pockets of this country and perspectives and
exactly.
You know what I mean? Even people living today, I don't think have a full grasp on what another's experience is.
Yeah.
And truly they never will fully, I think, grasp. You can't fully understand someone else's shoes because you haven't walked in them, but we need to come to the table with a much more honest and open mindset.
100%.
And empathy and just wanting to at least appreciate what someone else has been through.
100%. And I think like the empathy aspect, I just try to be empathetic in general in my life.
Yeah.
And so I think because of that, I'm hypersensitive when I feel like it's not like
reciprocated.
Reciprocated, exactly. Like that makes me feel, I think I just get like very, very sensitive about that. But I think if we could like really be empathetic about like, in all honesty, like the way things that affect us, they also affect the next person next to us who is a human being. And all of our experiences are going to be different, but human feeling in general, from like, that's all the same. And
absolutely.
I definitely think like sometimes because of the history of our country and just the way that things are, we are not as empathetic as we should be, to say it blanketly.
Yeah, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And specifically when it comes to your journey as a Black creative, talk to me a little bit about that journey. I mean, did you feel fully confident when you endeavored on this career path?
I'm like sweating.
I know. It's heavy.
No, and it's crazy. Let me say, I felt super confident in the beginning of the journey because I was younger. And when you're younger, you kind of like shing shing, like everything kind of bounces off of you, and you're just so focused like on what you want to do, or so excited,
and
or
ignorance is bliss to a certain extent.
100%.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm killing it. Like even in my performances when I was younger, being on stage, and like I was not ashamed of my body. Like I'm a curvy girl, dark skin. I'm living my life when I was younger. And then as I started to get into like early 20s, moving into LA, like starting to go over to the professional world, that's when I start having the most difficult time. Because that's when, and it sucks. I will say I'm glad that it happened to me when I was older because I could take it. It still hurts, you know, things, you know, we could literally spend 3 hours talking about all of the things.
Yeah.
But, you know, for example, being in an audition and getting to the end of the audition and literally being told, okay, you're in the final call or the final, you know, round, but you're too dark to be in this, so thank you for coming.
Just point blank.
Yes. But like you saw me when I walked in, so you know, like and it does something to the spirit. It really does. I can't even like front as much as I'm a strong person, but it does something to you. And to keep like getting hit with those shots is very frustrating, and that's just on like a performer dancer level. When you get to, you know, I'm a very ambitious person, and now, you know, you want to be a choreographer. I'm a teacher. I'm starting my own businesses. I'm now graciously and gratefully the creative director of Monsters. Still, it's not an easy journey. You know, it's not. I don't think that people understand that the title does not affect the person the same way. If that makes sense.
Yes.
So it is still an onward journey, and it's not easy.
Well, you handle it with such grace.
Thank you.
And you handle it, and I do think you are known for being a very you don't take any you know what. You know what I mean? And people respect you. You demand respect.
Yes.
I feel like you've always carry yourself in a way that
I do try. And I'm not like the best at it. I'm still human 100%, but I do it not only for myself, but I also want to do it for people around me. And especially in the industry that we're in, as artists and dancers specifically, we have to demand so much respect all the time. And I want to be somebody who is supporting that and somebody who's helping to like push that along. I don't want to be somebody who's hindering that respect, you know? So I think that's also why I'm so forceful. You know?
In talking about these interviews in the Black Creative Series, we talked of the word representation came up a lot. For you coming up, who was a shining example of representation, a guiding light, a North Star for you?
I went like this because the answer is so easy. The first number one, without even knowing she was, is Shawnette Hurd.
Wow.
Shawnette, I love you. You know how I feel about you. And it was, you know, everybody who is so inspired by Shawnette, we definitely saw her for the most part on the Velvet Rope Tour, Red Velvet?
Yeah.
The Velvet Rope Tour, and it wasn't the dancing. The dancing, of course, is next level, but it was not the dancing. It was like my hair was cut short like hers at that time. My body was like hers at that time. And I'm watching like these mannerisms she has, and I'm watching the way that she's like herself. I don't know, she just actually recently did, I don't know if you saw an interview where she spoke about how that was, she's a queer woman, and how that was, she had just come out around that time, and how that tour was the first time she felt like she was herself. And that's so crazy for me, because I'm thinking when I'm little, I felt something in that, like I didn't know that, you know, but I'm young and I'm watching this woman just like this chocolate, short-haired, sensual, like fly woman be herself, and I'm like, I want to do that.
I would argue that you knew it on a deeper level. It's not that you didn't know it; you knew it at the core, at the realest level of yourself.
I'll take
with
that.
It before words, before comprehension, like just that natural draw. Right?
I take that.
Man, that is an incredible.
It's really, it gives me like the feels every time I think about it, because I had no idea how far, and to be sitting here, and you know, I have an all-female intensive I do called Queen Domination, and she was one of the very first teachers, and like the moment of her saying yes and
talk
walking
about a full
through
circle
those,
moment for
I
you.
mean,
And so now, where you're at in your career and where you've pushed forward, I feel it would be safe to say that you hold that space for a lot of young generation, for younger dancers.
That is
especially come
big.
through
Thank
Monsters, because we see the way that you've mentored young dancers, and we see the way you look them in the eye, the way you connect with them after class. So what are some values? What do you hope to represent for those younger dancers and younger artists?
You're so great, and thank you for this, because this is like something that I want to be thinking about, and I appreciate you on all levels, you know. I think I always go back to this notion of like, you are enough. What you have to do is enough. And I think that's like kind of my guiding guiding, my North Star, my guiding light, like my yellow brick road. Yeah, like everything I do, however I mentor them comes out of that point, because I going back to when I was younger, like I felt so secure in that, and I want to, however I can, to keep that feeling within whoever I come across, especially young generation, but not just the younger generation, anybody I come across, just supporting people and
Lord
being
knows we
themselves.
deal with self-worth.
Child.
It's not like we graduated from that school.
How much time we got? Because
it's true.
Yeah, you know, like that. I think that is number one, and you know, there's strings that come out of that and other things, but like that confidence and really just being secure and okay in who you are, like that's it.
And that is a lifelong practice. Lifelong. But if you can instill it at a young age, you really hone in on that,
100%.
and not go through years of trying to, it's going to be a constant practice, like I said. But the earlier you can implement that from a role model like yourself, it's you're affecting lives. You're changing lives. You really are. Speaking of changing lives, what's this we got here? Speaking of changing lives, speaking of teaching future teachers.
Yes, I am very excited about this. So this is a course that's been a couple years in the making. I am the most passionate about teaching dance, which you know, and you guys took my class, you know, and I have
Bees
a course.
Bees.
See, I can't.
Bees in the trap.
Yo, I think that there is so much potential in this younger generation coming up, and also in the generation of teachers that we have, if we are just open enough to realize that there's some things that we can do better, because we need to be better for our students.
Absolutely.
So that was what this course is about, teaching future teachers, with me on the back. You can go to tftcourse.com to find out more information, but the premise of this is, if anybody wants to be a dance teacher, there's so many places to train as a dancer, like all over the world, internationally, but literally, like, tell me right now one place off the top of your head where, besides TFT, where you can train to be a dance teacher. Like, you have to really think about it.
Right.
And it shouldn't be like that.
Right.
Like, for how important dance teaching
and
is,
for
it shouldn't be like that.
for how many people are teaching, like how many,
We need a 5-hour conversation.
Yeah. Yes. So it is more important now than ever.
It really is.
Yeah.
And this is my workbook, by the way, guys. I published my first workbook. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, so if you guys are interested, tftcourse.com, but the message is bigger and the purpose is bigger, you know.
Make sure you check it out. I mean, you already follow Andye J, but now you need to know about TFT. Check it out. Your light continues to shine, and it radiates, and it only illuminates others, and that's what's so beautiful. It continues to emanate. So we, I mean, I'm not gonna but cue the strings. I mean, what do you want? What do you want me to start crying? You want me to confess my love?
I will start crying.
Like, what's happening? Like, let's just hug and get this over with.
Oh my God.
I love you.
I love you. Thank you so much.
Andye J, what else can I say?
Bye, everybody.